So today I want to talk a little bit about guinea pigs' digestive systems, which I know is weird, but stick with me here. So the reason I want to talk about it today is that I feel like it would be best for people to understand why we push things like unlimited amounts of hay and why we tell people that they shouldn't be feeding their guinea pig things that are higher in sugars, like fruits. So the main reason why is that their whole body is a fine-tuned machine to process high-fiber, low-energy diets. They are what are called the hindgut fermenter, which means most of their digestion is happening in the back half of their digestive tract in the large intestine. So when a guinea pig is eating, they're just kind of cram-packing as much high-fiber material in their small intestine until they can get to the large intestine where it can get broken down. Other animals that are hindgut fermenters are animals like rabbits and horses and goats and then even koala bears. So when a guinea pig is eating all these high-fiber materials, they make their way through the small intestine, and then there's an area right before the large intestine that's called the cecum. And the cecum contains a bunch of bacteria and microbes and microflora that are going to be helping them digest those high-fiber diets. And then it's going to push them into the large intestine. With guinea pigs, though, and even all the other hindgut fermenters too. So the reason we don't give them a lot of sugar is because you know what really loves sugar? Bacteria. And not all bacteria that are in your guinea pig's digestive tract is helpful bacteria that helps them break down those high fiber diets. So when sugar enters the intestinal tract, it really isn't going to affect too much until it gets closer to the end of their digestive tract. So your guinea pig could eat something and then be affected by it hours later. But the problem is that when those other bacteria that love sugar start multiplying, it makes an imbalance in your guinea pig's digestive system. And that can cause gut upset, which can cause loose stool, diarrhea, things like that. And the problem is with that is when it does that, it's not allowing the intestines to absorb any of the high fiber diet they actually need because it's irritated and it can't do its job. They already have a hard time picking up all the nutrients they need, not counting for the fact if their intestines really irritated and just shoving stuff out as fast as possible without fully digesting it. The other problem is some vegetables and fruits have different types of sugars that when they combine with bacteria can make gas. Broccoli is one of those. Most people don't think broccoli has sugar in it, but it has a type of sugar called raffinose. When it gets broken down by bacteria, creates gas. And while some guinea pigs can tolerate little amounts of gas, the problem is if they're not being fed a high-fiber diet to balance out some of the imbalance they're getting from those other veggies, or they're getting excessive amounts of those type of fruits and veggies that does contain a lot of sugar, it can cause issues. And the problem with bloat and gas is that if it blocks the intestines from working, they will stop working. Unfortunately, these guys, if any point their intestines stop functioning because of a blockage, because they're not getting enough food, because they stopped eating, they go into what's called GI stasis. So it could be that if there's a blockage of gas, the point after where it's not allowing anything to get digested will just stop working because it doesn't have to do anything. And the problem with GI stasis, it can happen with or starts to happen around 24 hours of not functioning properly. But basically, if it fully stops working, it is almost impossible to start it again. This is why we tell people, if your guinea pig stops eating, if they're not pooping, make sure you take them to the vet and they are getting care to help push things along, whether that means they're getting anti-gas things to break up the bloat, they're getting pain meds to help push through stuff, they're getting motility medication to make their intestines keep moving, but they need their intestines to keep moving. Like I said, they're a fine-tuned machine to process high-fiber diets, which means it's going from point A to point B in a very smooth line, and if that line gets broken off, it doesn't know what to do and it just stops working. So it's really important that if you are going to feed them things that have some type of sugars in them, that they are in moderation, which is why we tell people don't give them an entire apple or don't give them a lot of baby carrots, things like that, because it can really disrupt their gut. And while most of us do feed those things in moderation and most times it doesn't cause any issues, it still can, which is why when we have issues that cause loose stool, we tell people we'll skip veggies for a day, see what happens, because sometimes those extra veggies are really what's causing the problem, and why we tell people to give them lots of hay, because the high fiber diet is going to be the thing that's going to help balance them back out. And I apologize the video is so long, but I hope that explains why we really want them to be eating specific things and limiting the amount of things that they're eating that has sugars and stuff in them. Thanks guys, bye.